The calls on Capitol Hill for John Conyers to resign are growing louder and more frequent following House Minority Leader Nancy Pelosi's stance.
As you see on the rundown on the side of your screen, this is what we're talking about tonight. It's 6:30, so let's get to it.
The allegations against Congressman Conyers, as we have learned more since Sunday, are serious, disappointing, and very credible. It's very sad. The brave women who came forward are owed justice. I pray for Congressman Conyers and his family and wish them well. However, Congressman Conyers should resign.
Pressure for Conyers to step down has mounted in recent days after multiple allegations of sexual misconduct. While Pelosi did highlight Conyers' achievement in his more than 5 decades on the Hill, she made it clear zero tolerance means consequences for all. Conyers has denied the allegations. He is now refusing to resign.
Meantime, the House of Representatives passed some new rules that they require anti-sexual harassment training for all members. Now, this move, of course, is in response to the rampant allegations of sexual misconduct, which include Congressman Conyers.
So this is an issue a lot of lawmakers have been talking about. This is a hot topic, especially on the local level. So joining us here on 5 6:30 is Jeff Dub Jr. He's the congressional candidate seeking the Republican nomination for Virginia's 11th congressional district. Good to see you.
Thank you very much for having me.
Well, first of all, I mean, obviously you're running for office here. You're getting ready for this. We saw that Barbara Comstock, who is the Republican representative of District 10, has been quite vocal in the harassment situation on the Hill right now.
Yeah, right now it's a very hot button topic. I would say people have lost faith with regards to the actions of Congress, and seeing this secret hush fund that people have been being paid with by taxpayer funds has been causing quite an uproar. Yeah, to say the least.
Where do you stand on that? I mean, you know, for years we found out some astronomical amount of money that has been paid out.
Billions.
And the people who are paying out those money are the Congress people who are being protected. Nobody knows who they are. Where do you stand on that? Do you agree with it or do you disagree with it? I
disagree with that wholeheartedly. I believe that there needs to be more transparency as it relates to these payouts. They weren't just tied to sexual harassment, but they were also tied to hostile work environments, discrimination. So all these things should be public record, and it shouldn't take so much work in order to get that information out.
Okay, so the last time the last time sexual harassment was a big issue on Capitol Hill, when you think about it, was way back in the early 90s. Anita Hill stepped forward when Clarence Thomas was testifying during his conference. And that set up the Year of the Woman in 1992, when there were a lot of Democratic women who ran for office. You know, the Democrats have always tried to seize the handle of being the party of women. You're a Republican. What do you see any challenges? Do you see any advantages to having that R after your name going into the election next year?
The advantage I see is I'm not the incumbent. My opponent has been in office almost 10 years, and he's actually been pretty silent on this particular issue, which I find disconcerting.
Your opponent, for those who don't know, is Jerry Connolly.
Yes. So with regards to the Democrats being the party of women, I believe the Republican Party should be the standard bearer for that.
Well, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, that's all.
We're kind of talking about the Republican Party right now. The Republicans control both houses of Congress. Can't seem to get anything through. Where would you stand if you were, you know, there right now? How will you work to sort of, I guess, stop this, to bring both sides together to actually get some legislation passed?
One thing that pushed me to run for office is the stagnation that's in D.C., and I saw that there was a need for new ideas, new fresh ideas from fresh perspectives. I'm not a typical politician. I'm not a businessman or a lawyer, which is what they typically come from. I'm an IT guy and a combat veteran. So that's a different perspective on things, and I hope that I'll be able to take that to Congress.
Let me, because you bring that up, and this doesn't pertain to the topic of hand, but you talked about Jerry Connolly being there for a number of years. John Conyers, you mentioned, almost there for 50 years. You know, term limits. There's a lot of people out there who like the idea of term limits. Would that be something you would consider if you were elected to Congress when you're talking about the stagnation?
I'm actually for term limits. I can say working in IT, it's really hard to stay in one place for a very long period of time without getting stagnant, unless you were constantly learning something new or trying new ideas. You'll see that the people who have been in office for a very long time haven't been putting any real forward-thinking ideas forward.
And we certainly have that on both sides, you know, but we're looking at your case, at least in this instance. So
yes, Jeff Dub, thanks so much.
Thank you so much for having me.
Appreciate your perspective tonight.